Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the blessings, and the wisdom and the knowledge from the universe. Now, this is a not, oh, wait, back up a second. For all of you out there, cheers. Now, Dante's recently put out two videos, and I hope you see them in case they get taken down. And this is not about his videos, but it has sprung a Mother Mary message on my part, because in my ruminations and so forth of things, hello, Lori, how are you? Blessings to you. The Mother Mary message is really quite simple. There is so much confusion. So far behind, let's stop, children. Anyway, that's a lyrics to a song. But there are so many distractions going on the planet right now in so many different ways. And for those of us who understand what the cause is, and I'm just going to put it quite simply, if you're a person who wants peace um, and honor and all of humanity and the rest of the universe to come together in a peaceable way, then you're sort of working for the cause, and I've talked about it in my previous videos that those of us who have these core beliefs and that we want peace among all beings, we wish peace, tranquility, and hunger. I mean, these are our core values. And it was blasted in my brain again in Dante's first video about the Tunsa, I think it is. Anyway, but to the point, there was this lady, and there on the wall was core values. Now that to me was the trigger for me to do this. Maverick George, thank you. Praz, I don't have my glasses on. Blessings to you as well, to all of you. But in that, I saw core values on the wall with that lady who was talking in Dante's video in that one section. And I realized, oh man, boing, that's a trigger word for me. And I've been talking about core values for a long time. Now, I'm not trying to relate to the lady in the video. What I'm trying to say is, though, that the core value of all of us, do we wish love and peace, or do we wish hatred and war? And to me, it's simple. There are those who think that, for if I have more information than someone else, then for some reason, then I must be a higher being, or maybe for whatever reason, I'm better than somebody else or something like that. And I have the belief that all beings are created equal, especially if they choose the basic core values of love, honor, respect, peace, non-war. And that to me is what's important. So it struck me very hard this afternoon. And so I've spent a couple of hours meditating today, as I usually do. Every day is a meditation for me, all day long, just about it. But to the point, though, I was asking, all right, what is this about? And Mother Mary just simply put her hand on my shoulder and said, tell them to have faith. That's all. And there wasn't a big communication. It's not like me and Mother Mary have these long-winded conversations. I'm not even going there. But when I have questions about whether or not something is effective or whatever going on, the chaos in the world, I ask, is there anything that I should relate or pass on, or, what do you want me to do? And for those of you who have seen my previous videos about my discussions about Mother Mary, I've known that I have had this attachment since I was 11 years old. It actually started when I was 7. But to the point though, so I'm not trying to claim that I have any inside information, but it's reassurance that regardless of the chaos on this planet right now, we must have faith, and we must share our faith without trying to get people upset. You know, I try to talk to folks and like, listen, this isn't about religion. It isn't about a book, because there are so many discrepancies in the Bibles. And, you know, I've had that discussion about these things before. There's so much disinformation out there, and people continue to propagate and promulgate and, you know, and force this issue upon us that, you know, our faith isn't any good and we don't know what we're doing. And, oh, peace between people is a stupid idea. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm an old hippie and I've always believed in peace between well, all beings, but, you know, I more or less human beings back in the day. But the idea, though, that there are people who are being tested in so many different ways. I myself am being tested. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks, and it's like hard to climb out of the virus issue and the cold and the nastiness and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so each one of us is being tested one way or the other. How we respond to the test, how we're being tested, whether it be that there's so much chaos and confusion in your life. Can you stop and pray long enough and say, listen, I just want you to help guide me through this. Whatever your confusion is, whatever your chaos, whatever your problems are. And Mother Mary just put her hand on my shoulder today and she said, you got to tell folks, there's so much going on, not just on this planet, but above us, in the skies around us, in the ethers, in the different dimensional beings. And I've talked with some other people here. I'm always trying to chat and learn what other folks know. And there are a lot of fourth dimensional beings that are being photographed, seen, witnessed, and were by people who would never even consider having those kind of thoughts before. So people's eyes are being opened up. But the issue is though their eyes are opening up, but who are they going to listen to? Are they going to listen to the preacher, the pastor that's been yakking? Make sure you put money in the collection plate. You know, it's all about the church. It's not about the people. It's all about the doctrine of the church, and it's not about the people. And Mother Mary, you know, in that question right there, she's like, it doesn't matter. Of all these scriptures and all of these things, we got to stick with our core values. Do you believe in peace? Do you believe in honesty? Do you believe in, you know, in compassion? Do you, you know, if you are pulled away by the chaos of the world, of all the things we need to do now, if you will, we need to hunker down with our faith. We need to be absolutely sure whatever they may do to me, I cannot change my mind. There's no way. I cannot go back. There are people I know who are like, well, you know, when the going gets tough, they sell out. And it's like, man, I don't know about that, you know. As hard as my life has been in many ways, it's not near as hard as some other folks. And, you know, have I been tortured or hung upside down or anything like that? No. But I have been tortured. Anyway, but not like they did back in the day. But anyway, torture is torture, and regardless if you're chained to a wall or if it's mental torture or whatever. And what they're trying to do now is torture everyone through mass media, through the internet. There's so many people still trying to convince you that you are a part of the artificial matrix. And I keep telling folks, if you turn your phone off, if you shut down your computer, if you just close the lid like I do, then I'm not a part of the AI, period. You know, I cannot be suckered into that. And with all this chaos and everything going on, people are being sucked into these chaotic situations, and they're losing their faith. They're losing the fact that we must stick together at all cost. even if it's a no-win situation, which that's not what I'm saying. But if it were, do you just say, well, crap, we're outnumbered. I'm going to give up my faith and go to the other side. I'm going to give up my beliefs and go to the other side, simply so I can live in this 3D reality. And my answer to that is, no, I can't. If I had to give up and work for the other side, no, nah, that's a stain on my soul and my spirit and my karma. And I refuse to even think about that. But there are people who are like, well, maybe we should just go ahead and go along with this. Well, the rest of society is doing these kinds of things. It's really easy to follow the crowd and go, well, I don't know, it's too difficult. I spoke with some friends a couple of days ago and was discussing, this is not really off topic, but kind of sort of is, but it's that, I've been discussing about plastics and what the polymers and things do in the body, and the fact that my arthritis is better because I stopped using plastic bottles. I stopped drinking water out of plastic. I did these things consciously, and my arthritis is better in my hands and in my knee as well. But the thing is, though, that they were like, well, but it's so easy for me to buy a plastic bottle. And the reason I buy it is because it's got a screw on lid. And everything they said was to defend their chaos. Well, it's too difficult for me to, well, why don't you take water? Why don't you make, some iced tea or something and you're going to drink something during the day. There are ways you can get around doing things, and they just kept making excuses as to why and how they should continue to use plastic. And I was like, well, then, if you're just going to go along with everybody else because it's convenient, then you've kind of lost a little bit of yourself. Because if you have this information, it's affecting you. You know that these things are being proven over the many years with, like, for example, the hormones and all kinds of different things. And, the fact that some girls are reaching puberty at 9 and 10 years old now. I mean, some of this stuff is absolutely absurd. But the idea, though, that we must lose ourselves and give in to society. Now, I just use plastic as a minor example, but it's a huge thing to the planet. It's a huge thing to Mother Earth. It's a huge thing to nature and to those things which make a difference. And if we say, plastics, that's no big deal. What? So, but there are all other types of subjects that people are going, well, but, I can't really control that. Well, but do you have my question to these folks are simple. Do you think that one person can make a difference? Well, I know since I've stopped using plastics, I can tell you that there are probably several hundred plastic bottles that are not in the system anymore because I refuse to use plastic bottles unless there's no other choice. I've been in a couple of situations where I was really needing some water and the only clean water was in a plastic container. Sometimes I slip, but it's those extremes. It's like, well, now to the point, when I go kayaking, I always take a bottle of water. Now, am I being, untrue to my own word? It's convenience, and I know it. And that I haven't opened that bottle of water yet. But to the thing, though, that people are losing their faith. And let me stress something here. And I want to read some of your comments, all your comments, maybe. But if it's too difficult, people lose faith. Well, I don't know. My core values are such. My this is this. Well, it's too convenient to believe it this way. Then you, in a way, have lost some of your faith. And of all the things that are coming from the higher ups, please don't lose your faith. Understand that the cause of humanity and all hybrids, aliens, whatever, all beings, if we can continue to be harmonious, if we can continue to seek some type of equal basis, or something in this, a balance is what I'm actually going for. The idea, though, is that have we lost the battle? We're going to lose some battles. There have already been some very bloody battles and things going on. And there's a lot of stuff going on upstairs right now. I mean, out in space and around. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But the thing is, can you keep your faith regardless of what they do? Can you hold your faith to these core values? Can you continue to contribute to the positive thoughts, to the positive outcome of what may happen on this planet, to the positive things that are already in this universe? Can we use those regardless of what may happen to us individually? But as a group of folk, a group on this planet and in other places and other dimensions, if we continue with our heartfelt, never give up for the cause, because we understand that the cause of compassion and so forth is so important. Other people say, well, is that really a big deal? Should you really be talking peace at this time? Do you really think blah, 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 blah? They're going to try to come up, and they do. They come up with all kinds of excuses to try to derail those of us. You can't derail me. I'm not going back to your side in any way, shape, or form, because my core value says I can't. There's no way you're going to, be able to infest my brain with something and let me work for the other side. Ain't no way. And so my faith is strong. If for nothing else but that, do I have faith in Dante and what he says? I know he brings out a lot of things that make me scratch my head and go, And he points out things that are very important for all of us. Now, I bring this up here. I'm going to try to keep this within 30 minutes. But I'm kind of getting some downloads right now. And one of the things is, if you feel that you have a core value of truth, which is more important, to know where you've been or to know where you're going? Now, they're telling me right now I need to do a separate video on this and not tack it on the end of this one. But to those of you who are still around and may watch this to the end, you must ask that question. You must say, well, wait a minute now. My core values, would I change those to save like this meat bag? If you understand that Christ died for our sins and that we are saved, then if we hold on to our core values, we will be with the angels when we leave this realm here. Will we be reincarnated? Don't know. But I know that there are many of us who are understanding our past lives in ways that I just never dreamed of. I brought up the point that I hit a fox on the run with a bow and arrow, and I'm not an archer. Where did I gain this knowledge? Where did I attain it? Is it an old memory? I think it is. But now in my own past, I was adopted, and the family was very secretive about who my real father was. Biological versus parental. And for a long time, I spent a long time searching about my past. And I realized that once I learned about it, it didn't really make a hill of beans compared to where am I going in the future? What do I see for the future? What can I do tomorrow? Not worry about what happened yesterday or last week or last year or 2 or 3 reincarnations ago. It's important information. It helps us to realize who we are. But is it more important to know where we've been than to know where we're going? And I say it's more important that we know where we're headed, not necessarily where we came from, because the disinformation is so much, it's clouding our forward thinking. I think you probably get that. The more we worry about what happened before, the less we're able to focus on what we can do for tomorrow. And that's the Mother Mary message. And to me, it's like, well, duh. But to a large portion of this, let's say, now understand this, I still feel that the past is important. But there are a lot of people that are focused on words and symbols and things, and they really don't know the whole story. So if they haven't watched Dante or some other folks, then they've just got a partial glimpse of what the true picture is. But they're willing to stake their core values and their spiritual reputation, if you will, on what they think is true and what they think is, the events that have happened and are unfolding. And I've been telling folks, listen, it's really good that you listen and watch and take all this in, because all that information is good. But it may be somewhere down the line that you watch something, you go, oh crap, that's disinformation. Oh my God, I'm guilty of watching certain things and so, well, that must be true. And then realize later on, ain't right. Or there's something, that has been misconstrued in the message that has been given us. So these folks are desperately trying to change our minds. They're desperately trying to pit each of us against each other, our own brethren. And we got to understand that we must have faith in the cause. And the cause isn't stopping in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The cause is going to continue on for millennia in the future, because this isn't just the end. Even if we all die tomorrow, it's not the end. It's just the end of this existence on this 3D plane. So if you understand that you are a spiritual being, if you understand there's more to this than just me in this life, or you in your life, as it may be. I hate to point the finger, but I'm just for y'all out there. But the thing is though, that have we lost our way because, well, I don't know if the past is really true. Does it matter? I'm just asking this to you. Does it matter? Or does it matter more that we know where we're headed in the future? I say future. Mother Mary says future. Her message is, don't stop looking for the past, because there's clues in all kinds of things. But I still got a lot of congestion in my chest, so. Anyway, I don't really have any more information other than there are still a lot of people who are trying to sway you and me from our way of thinking. And we must be strong. That's all. We got to be strong. We must have faith. And I'm sorry, but regardless of what happens to me, I'm going to die with this faith. That's all there is to it. And it's not that I intend to be a martyr or anything like that, but they can't get me. They're not going to get me. I refuse to be a traitor. I was thrown in jail back in 78, and they wanted me to turn state's evidence. They wanted me to do all this other kind of stuff. And I said, look, guys, you arrested me. I'm going to serve my time. And I was up for 20-year sentence. So, I was looking at some bad time back then. I wouldn't have gotten out until 99 if that were the case. So, there's, but anyway, but the thing is I didn't lose my faith. I kept who I was, even though I was in jail. I kept my own personal thing. I didn't bend over and do any nasties to try to get any kind of, special treatment or anything. I kept who I am. I kept my faith. Even way back then, I understood what the cause was. And the cause is humanity. The cause is brothers and sisters. There are people out there, because their IQ may be a little bit smart, make them a little smarter. But and I've made this analogy before, and an old plumber told me this. He said, look, when the brain surgeons, who charge an exorbitant amount of money, are surgeons and doctors, but if a brain surgeon, if his toilet backs up, who does he call? He calls me, the dumbass plumber, to unstop his toilet. Now, I'm not going to try to perform brain surgery. This was this gentleman telling me, he was a plumber. And he goes, but you know what? If I need brain surgery, I'm going to go to this guy because he's really good. But he ain't worth a damn in unstopping a clog in his toilet, So they call in the dumb guys, me, to work on their plumbing. So it's like, what is smart? Well, this person's smarter and therefore they should get more whatever's, a doctor who's a doctor gets, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year when some poor schmuck like me that only makes 13, has to save money and do all these things just to go visit one of these guys. And that's with Medicare, by the way. They're supposed to be changing that, but we'll see. But to the point, though, I'm a poor fella, but, do you think that rich doctor is going to see me for free? Not on your life. They turn you down and push you away. Now, if a plumber says you got a stopped up toilet, he'll try to make arrangements with you. Well, I own stuff. You got $50. Okay, I'm going to bill you for the rest. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've done it myself. People be in a bind and they're, and something happens with their septic tank or whatever, and they pay me later one way or the other. And if not, then I'm paid by the work that I've done and because I believe in that understanding. So, but anyway, it's all about faith. I personally don't believe that one person is better than another. I believe that who they are is determined by what they do. And if they're a good person, if they help other people, if their core value and their cause of righteousness and peace and etc., then they're on my side. They are members of the League of Like-Minded Beings, and that's where we all sit. Those of us, all of you in the chat and so forth, you understand what I'm talking about. So my friends, the message is, regardless of what they try to shove down our throats, continue to have faith in your core values, your core beliefs. And I pray that for you, that you stick with it, because there are so many people who want to jump ship and, well, this is too hard for me, or I don't know if I could give up plastic. I mean, whatever it is, I don't know. I believe in Christ and I believe in this. But if you really kind of point a gun at me or something, that's a little too vicious, I guess, of a thing. But there are people who use the Bible to point at you and say, well, it says there in the Bible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but which version do you have? Well, we're going to get into all these semantics. But the thing is though, that, listen, my friends, I do love you all. I pray for you all. I do. I'm not on sometimes when I'd like to be. This virus has kicked my rear end, I'm telling you. But I refuse to give up, and I refuse to lose faith in the overall concept of the cause, because we are all members of the League of Like-Minded Beings. You ain't going to talk me out of it. You know what I mean? I don't care. If the devil walks up, I'm just going to laugh at him and smile and say, bub, do your worst, I reckon. I'm not asking Maverick George staying present in love. Absolutely. I'm going to scroll back up here and see what y'all got to say. And you know me, Lori, Ephraz, Martin, Corey, we are his offering, says Martin. Beto, pleased to see you. What flew out of me during the last video was the clip, "We are not all equal." Okay, Martin says, bro, don't you listen? I already told you that Mother Mary was a hybrid from the bad side. You need to do some research instead of coming on here and blabbing. Martin, that is your point of view. The Mother Mary that I've known all of my life isn't part of the Flash. Sorry, she just isn't. She has never, ever, ever, ever steered me away off of the path of peace, love, and compassion. That is your opinion. Your version of Mother Mary. My version of Mother Mary is who has manifested several times before me and who have sent messages to me. And if you think that this message that we should all maintain our faith is a message from the flash? Seriously? Martin, your idea of Mother Mary is your idea of Mother Mary. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise, but I know that my messages is very simple. And if you think that my coming on here and blabbing that Mother Mary says to have faith in the cause, I don't know where you got your information. Don't even want to go there, because I've had a full lifetime. I'm 67 years old, and for the last 55 years plus, I've had Mother Mary messages, and they've all been to help other people, myself included, and to steer in the right direction. So, okay, Martin, I've got a lot to learn. And with that said, yeah, Martin says again, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's right there for you to read in plain sight. Mother Mary appeared to me. I'm not reading anything about Mother Mary, Martin. I'm just not. She appeared to me. She appeared to me as an 11-year-old before I knew any of this stuff. So I'm not reading things and saying that this is Mother Mary. No, she has appeared before me. Okay. You can believe me or not, that's up to you. But Maverick George says that's your own perception, be your own truth. Martin, can you trust your sources, or are you just Corey says, Martin, can you trust your sources, or are you just Googling? Maverick says, not what you define it as, but the energy and faith you put into it. Thank you, Maverick. Ian, blessings to you. Hey, Maverick, to know who I am now, staying present in love. So, for Martin, he's reading things. And I have been, I got to admit this out loud, For many years, I thought that what Mother Mary showed me as an 11-year-old was actually a dadgum curse. But then in recent years, and for those of you who followed my channel for a little while, you understand that it ain't about that. And what I read about Mother Mary and what I believe about Mother Mary are two separate things. So do I think the person who stood before me in my house right over there about 2 years ago, when she told me it was time I started doing these videos, if folks try to tell me that she was a Vlash hybrid that appeared and that I'm somehow working for the other side, no, that ain't happening. Because there have been too many other positive things that has come through my Mother Mary messages. Now, I would submit, and as Dante puts out there, is Mother Mary actually part of the goddess? Now, I think the goddess has been getting a lot of bad rap, and as far as Dante is concerned, he's been showing us that the goddess is Mother Earth, the mother of us, and it's like, through history, people have, goddess is pagan, goddess is this, goddess is that, blah, 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 blah. But a goddess, if you just think she is a godhead, or, she's like the queen of mothers, if you will. And in my opinion, Mother Mary, the message right now is she is just like a top level manager. She doesn't control these people. It's a management issue because all beings have, free will. And so if you have free will, you can choose to do what you want. But I have been considering a lot of what Dante has said about the Mother Mary and the goddess and so forth. And I years ago, before I really understood what Dante was even talking about, I had my own revelation that Mother Mary is a representative of Mother, call it goddess if you will, but I'm like, okay, I try to stay away from those kind of words. But Mother Mary is a mother, is a figurehead of motherhood, okay? And that all things, because, Mother Mary was come to me, my children, and let's mother, for goodness sake, not killing or raping or pillaging or whatever. And so for those people who want to give Mother Mary a bad name and that, that she's tied in with their goddess and paganism and all that, I got to say, stop it. because that's part of the disinformation and the misinformation. My information, I get it straight from my source through my guardian angel, through my spirit guide. And you think I wasn't shocked when Mother Mary appeared over there with Sister Helene, the Dominican nun who taught me in at Tampa Catholic? And in 1970, we spent the summer discussing theology and Christianity and Catholic doctrine. And she told me not to become a priest, but to study Buddhism. And, that was in 1970. And there's a lot of information coming out now that Christ actually went eastward and studied the Eastern traditions and so forth, like Buddha, or not just Buddha, but that type of understanding and meditation and thought process and the compassion. And I have met many different types of shamans, medicine men, and just holy people. And I got to tell you, when you meet some of these people, you can tell as they walk towards you, their aura shines, and it's like, that ain't whatever somebody else wants to say they are. You can just tell by their aura and their spirit. You can tell by the way they feel, and even as they get close to you, their vibrations emanate outwards. And I've been around some really nasty beings, and I can tell the dadgum difference. And if somebody's trying to convince me that my Mother Mary is a Vlash hybrid, not in my book, not in my faith, and not in my belief, and what I witnessed in my own house here. Because Mother Mary's never steered me wrong. What's wrong with the message of have faith? Just asking, if somebody, Mother Mary, she was Vlash, and you're, okay, Martin, thank you. But to the point, though, is like, but wait, let's listen to the message, not listen to who sent it. But if I'd have said, okay, silent 72 plus, ET message, or message from, higher self, or message from the universe, or here's a message, keep the faith. I got a Mother Mary message today. Very simply, tell them, Hawkeye, to have faith, to don't break faith. And there are people like Martin they're still trying to convince us that we're wrong in what we feel. Okay, I don't want to argue, but I will state my point. And the point is this: my Mother Mary ain't no Vlash. I've met some of these other weirdos, and I'm here to tell you, her energy, her light, and what has been shown to me through her, it's all positive, it's all good. And yes, sometimes we have to do bad things like kill another being. If they're trying to kill us and the war is going on and the Vlash are trying to wipe us all out, should we just stand there and let them mow us down, or should we stand and fight? As much as I don't like fighting, if I gotta, I will. And in fact, I am fighting now by using this video to say, folks, they're trying to infiltrate us, just like Martin. And just like a lot of other people, they're trying to sway our basic core value. And that is love, honor, respect, compassion, peace. If we believe in that, then no amount of past history is going to change my mind. It may reinforce it. It may make me question it. But when I look forward, my past doesn't matter. Because what matters right now is this instant. What matters right now is what we think. Do you want compassion? Do you want these things? Do you wish to hold on to these core values? I mean, that's up to you. It's an individual thing. But, my Mother Mary ain't Vlash. I'm just here to tell you, from a spiritual side, from all the shamans and medicine men and so forth I've met, nah, she is the epitome of light, love, and goodness. Every time it comes across, this wave just comes across, and it sends chills up and down my spine. But I know where that message came from, and I know it to be honest and true. And I know I'm babbling, and I'm going to quit this in a couple of minutes here. And Sweet Pea, I see you there. Anybody know what those tentacle-looking things are in the sky? They were shown in a video. Sweet Pea, there are lots of interdimensional beings. Because we are on the high end of the third dimension and fourth dimension, the veil is being lifted, parted. And as I've said before, we are transitioning into the fourth dimension. We're not ascending. Nope. To ascend means to climb a ladder, but we are transforming. We are making the transition from 3D beings into lower fourth dimensional beings. And so all of us in one way, shape, or form are starting to see orbs, these creatures. They've always been there. It's not that they just appeared. They've always been there. These interdimensional beings have been around us, swimming around us in this interdimensional space. And because as I've discussed in other videos about the Earth and so forth, Mother Earth is changing, and we're changing right along with it. And the parting of the veil, or the lifting, however you want to look at it, we are seeing into the fourth dimension. We are seeing these other realms now. And that is proof that we are making this transition. Okay. And so I'm just saying, if you've seen something like that, there was a Milky Way Weekly this last Sunday, we did a video, and I think his name is Brian Lunsford, and he's down in Florida, not too far from me. And we were talking, and he's like, man, come down here and visit. I want to show you some of these hot spots where I live and some of the things that he's taken pictures of. And he's taken pictures of these worm-like things. And now I haven't. Doesn't mean that they don't exist, but I'm curious because he lives down near the coast and I live up here in, southern Georgia. And I've always I have been talking about, it seems like these spirit beings are attracted to water. So what if these worm type tentacle looking things are ocean bound? I say ocean bound, but in that they like the ocean and the energy of the ocean. And so that's why, folks along the beaches and so forth like that are seeing those types of things. When with all the years that I've been taking pictures of orbs and stuff, I've never had a worm appear or anything like that. Not to say they don't exist, but where I have been in all these high energy places here in South Georgia, they have not appeared to me on any of my videos or pictures that I've taken. So, but I still believe that they exist simply because they're not around me here. Am I going to discount what someone else takes a picture of? Not when there's a picture, you know what I mean? But anyway, Maverick says bridges for light workers coming down. Yep, that's true. Ian Barber. So are those core values like muscles, use them or lose them? Ian, in a way. And that's a good way to put it. If we become lax in something, I mean, say you're a long distance runner. There are a lot of people who like to run. If you take a week or 10 days off and you don't go out and jog or run or something, you can tell. I mean, that's why I'm feeling a little under the weather right now, because the virus that got me almost 2 weeks ago now, I'm still trying to recover from it. At 67, it's a little hard for me to get back up out of some of these dadgum ill conditions. But the thing is though, I realize that my energy's low physically and I need to get up and move around, which I'm doing. But I know that, because I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, not to just go jump on the river tomorrow. Well, I feel a little better. I think I'll go paddle for 20 miles. No. Do I want to go down to the lake and put in and paddle around for an hour to get my strength back? Yeah. So, but to your point about the, muscles. Yes. So yes, if you aren't reaffirming your own core values, and it's really simple, it's that every day you just think about it. That it's not hard. You don't have to go into deep meditations or say a bunch of prayers. You just say, I accept and receive, as you've seen me in my videos, accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And you say it, I accept and receive. And that means that the energy from the universe comes into and helps to keep your core value. And your core value, if you did you stop having compassion yesterday? Did you stop caring if there were hungry people? Did you stop, But to your point though, yes, if you don't use it, you lose it. So, but it's not hard to keep your core value up. It's when you see people who try to take you away from your core value and you go, no, sorry about that. I'll listen to you and we can have discussion. Marty, I could have banned him or whatever, or cussed at him or pointed my finger, but I'm like, no. His idea of Mother Mary is what he's read. He's not had manifestations of this beautiful person to appear before me. And don't ask me why I'm special. I ain't got a flipping clue. I do feel that we are equal. Now, there are those who think, nope, I'm smarter than you, or I come from another something. And see, you have to understand the universal law. And I mean in the universe, to do no harm. So regardless of whether or not you think you're better than another, if you have that thought, I'm better than him because I went to school, and you just went off of your core value. Why? Because you think you're better than everybody else. I don't. I think we are all equal. You have talents that I don't. I may have a talent that you don't. But does that make us unequal? I submit no. We just have different talents. So with the idea that, well, I don't know, this guy can do he understands particle physics. Fine. But can he clean a clog in a toilet? You say, well, what's that got to do with it? Is the plumber stupid? Or is it the physicist? They both have their own realms of reality. They're both right in their own realm and what the information that they have or what they're supposed to do in this 3D reality, in this reincarnation. But to say that the physicist is better than the plumber, I just can't agree. Oh, but he's smarter. Is he? Can he unclog a sink? I'm just saying, sometimes it's the simple things that are the most complicated. And for, this idea that I'm better than you, I cannot think that. I will not think that. Even as a shaman in training, I know a lot of other things that other people don't do, but I don't shun them for it. I say, look, maybe you need help with understanding this. That's the reason I started this Shaman Basics series of videos. To try to stay away from any kind of religion and words of religion, if you will, let's keep our core value, which is our soul and our spirit. And every single moment, we can just reaffirm it. So I hope that makes sense. Maverick says, not lose them, but strengthen them. I agree. And that's kind of where I was headed with that. I just saw in the video and a picture, Sweet Pea says, Ian says, yes, exercise those values in your everyday deeds. And Ian, and to all of you, I'm stuck out here as a hermit in the woods and I don't get out. So my deeds are kind of limited to my local area and me, if you will. But for me, doing this video is following through on the deeds because Mother Mary told me, years ago, you're going to have to talk to folks and let's come to, a common reality. Now I use, our core value is, and I started using it, and then I seen that in Dante's first video today or yesterday, depending. I was like, core value, boom, there we go. See, other people talk about this, so it's like, but if your thoughts are as important as physical deeds. So sending a prayer out to the universe for continued peace, to sending a prayer out or a good thought or your intent, however you wish to look at it. To send it to those and to Martin, I say, hey, I'm going to send a prayer his way in hopes that he will understand there's more to it than maybe some of the things that he's read. Now, as a, you know, an ex-Catholic, if you will, growing up in the Catholic Church and all the doctrine and so forth. But Mother Mary came to me in a different way that had nothing to do with the church, which is interesting. And Mother Mary comes to me and has nothing to do with Catholics or anybody else. She comes to me as a mother, as a that female divine entity of, you know, hey, come on, you are my children in this respect. And so as a mother, I'm going to give you information like, hang on, folks, or, you know, wear your galoshes, take your, you know, your umbrella, it might rain, you know. So the things that have come across to me that I wish to share with you all, and those core values are very simple. Do you believe in love and honesty and truth and those things? Or are you going to go tell a lie and do some kind of shyster thing? And, well, I go to church and I do, you know, man, let's not go there. What do you do outside of church? What do you do with your thoughts? Are you thinking about these people are crazy? You know, like, wow, them damn libtards, blah, blah, blah. But in the same time, but I love Jesus and everything's cool. Well, then, but your speech is different. Well, those damn Democrats or those damn Republicans or those damn whatever they choose to pick, you know, but they say, but yeah, but I'm a Christian. Well, then why are you spouting off all this negativism? Why don't you find something positive to talk about? And one of the things I keep seeing, everything is apocalyptic. When I was growing up, we had some bad storms. In the summertime, it was called summertime. Oh, there's a heat wave. We get to 99. It's called a heat wave. You know, it's called summertime. Right now, we're in the dog days of summer. You know, the end of July and into August, we're in dog days. Dog days are always horrible. I don't care where you are. Sometimes, I mean, right now it's cooler down here in South Georgia than some places in the Midwest. Go figure. It's just what the weather does. But the thing is though, do we change who we are? And I say no. Keep who you are. If you're spouting off negativisms and rata, then you're part of the chaos. Remove yourself from the chaos and stick with who you are as a spiritual being. We are all angels in this mess. You know, some quote higher than others. I hate to use that kind of terminology, but you know, hey, you know, if you join the Marines or the Army, Air Force, or Navy, you know, you start in as a buck private or as a seaman first class or whatever, you know, you start out at the bottom and you learn. And as you learn, then you can become a, you know, a corporal, a sergeant, a staff sergeant, a lieutenant, or whatever, you know. So the idea, though, that you can work up the ranks, if you will, to receive a badge of honor for the duty and the things that you've learned. As a carpenter, you start out sawing boards, and then you become a master carpenter because you've had so much time, life, and experience that you have become a master of your trade. Does that make you smarter than somebody? Does it make you better than anybody else? In my opinion, no. Because as a master carpenter, it's your duty to teach someone below you or under you who doesn't have the same amount of information. I say below because you have achieved through your number of years what you've learned, and it has made you a master carpenter or electrician or a plumber. But does that make the guy that's working for you an idiot? No, he's working for you because he wants to learn the knowledge that you have. So we share. As masters of our own spirit, we should share what we know with each other and to those people who may be confused. And I try to stay away from words and rhetoric. And this one gentleman the other day was saying, yeah, but this is part of the something, 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 something. And I was like, but what does that mean? What does all of this, it's a symbol of blah, blah, blah. What does it boil down to? Well, it boils down to that we're all spiritual beings. And I was like, thumbs up. You know, hey, wait, we're all spiritual beings inside these vessels. Can we agree on that? And he was like, well, yeah, but it's about, and I was like, the words don't really matter. It's what you feel inside. Do you believe that you are a spiritual being? Yes or no? Do you believe you have a soul? Yes or no? I mean, you can discuss, well, and your feelings about it. That's okay. But the bottom line is, do you believe you have a soul? Do you believe that you have a higher purpose? And my higher purpose is to share these thoughts with you and to try to be as good a human being as possible. And I'm sure I'm some kind of hybrid. I'm blue-eyed, blah, blah, blah. But to the point, though, does it matter? What, there are those charistas, for example, who have turned coat and turned other people in and have killed their own kind. And you could say, well, just because you are of the charistas doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good guy. And I would say that what's to say that a Vlash hybrid couldn't actually gain a conscience at some point and say, I'm sorry, I'm not working for you guys. I'm going to work for the other side. I've had enough of this. So to say you're one or the other, and that if you believe that, I mean, I used to be a Democrat. Am I a Republican now? No. Am I a Democrat now? No, I don't know what I am. But these two sides have been arguing so much that I'm sorry, there's chaos in there. So, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. Well, yeah, I do, because I refuse to become a part of any party that doesn't know what they're talking about. I mean, anyway, but to the point though, if you're tearing down somebody else, or if your views are the only ones, like Martin's earlier, I'm sorry, look at it, bro, it's right in front of you. Well, Mother Mary stood right in front of me and didn't appear to you. I'm not saying that that's better or worse, but my reality is I saw, I felt, it isn't about reading. And I spent, 12 years of my life in Catholic school. I graduated Tampa Catholic in 1970. So I had catechism every single day. And so people would say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Really? How much indoctrination have you had of religion or history or the Crusades or any of that? And I go, well, I joined a church once. And you read the Bible. So you're going to have the same conversation with me that's had 12 years of catechism and religion class every single day in school. And you're going to compare your knowledge of a little bit of something, but I'm wrong and you're right. And I got to say, hang on, I'm not a master of this. I'm still learning, but I learned enough to know that you ain't got the right to tear me down because you've read the Bible, a portion of the Bible or something. Have you gone through the history I have? I'm just asking. Does that make me better than you? It may make me more knowledgeable, but does it make me better than that person? I don't think so. Not in my world. I'm not better than them. I just have more knowledge on a particular subject. And that to me that's what's important. There are people who call me a shaman, and I continue to say I am a shaman in training. When I learn how to walk through that wall right there in front of me, I will have achieved Shaman 101. But the idea, though, that, some people have read some stuff on the internet. No, I'm sorry, but take those of us who have had 12 years of catechism, 12 years of training, indoctrination, 12 years of, and then compare it with your 1 year of reading. It doesn't compare. Now, it doesn't make me better than this other individual. I want to stress that. It just means that I have more knowledge on some of these subjects than they do. Doesn't make me better, just makes me more knowledgeable. And I'm willing to share that knowledge. That's why I'm here. So, and I will continue to be here because we need to remember that these core values, regardless if it's Mother Mary or the goddess or whatever, are we beings of like-minded, are we part of the league of like-minded beings? Do we want the same core things? Do we want peace and harmony? And many of us say yes. So words and phrases and all this other stuff really doesn't matter. What matters is what's in our heart. That's our core value. What is in your heart? In my heart, I wish to have love, peace. That's my core value. My heart in here, and my spirit and my soul. All three of those are of the same. So I will accept criticism, but until you have learned and walked my path just a little bit, tossing up things and, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't done your research. It's staring you right in front of you. Well, Mother Mary stared at me right in front of me, less than 10 feet away. So what should I believe? Terry B, hi, how are you? Let me go back up here. Ian, yes, exercise those values in your everyday deeds and in your thoughts and intent as well, Ian. Maverick, each one of us has their idea of who they are and who they are going to be. Who's to say who is wrong and who is right? Right, Maverick, when we see things in a different light. Thank you, Maverick. Sweet Pea says, I'm not sure the last time the weather was allowed to be the weather. It's more like an industrialized weapon. I agree, Sweet Pea. In looking at some of these weather patterns around down here, when I was, I used to travel with a carnival back in the day. In the 60s, we'd leave Tampa and play South Georgia, Alabama, North Florida, and so that's how I got to South Georgia. But you could watch the thunder clouds build in the afternoon and tell if there was going to be a shower or not. And now I look up at the clouds and say, I haven't got a clue what's going on, where the weather is moving, how the air patterns are going. So it's a lot different from when I was a kid, just looking up at the sky. And I'm much agree with you on that. They are manipulating the weather. That is a fact. And I mean, just go back to that 1960 something speech with Lyndon Baines Johnson. I'm old enough to remember that speech when he made it, okay? And it creeped me out back then as a child, okay? I was 11, 12, 13 years old, and I thought it was kind of creepy back then. So hello from PA. Bigelow, blessings sent to you. And but remember, our prayers can be very simple. My intent as a person, as a being, is to shed light, intelligence, peace, and prosperity and compassion to the universe. That's a simple prayer, and you don't have to make it to any God or invisible thingy. But if you understand that the universe and the cosmos and the quantum level of energy out there, when we speak into the quantum, it becomes part of the universe. So for every one of us who speaks or thinks or sends our intentions out positively, we are having an effect in the quantum realm. So my friends, I love you very much. Continue to do what you do. I know there are many naysayers out there who would like to sway us from our opinions because they have certain words and things. If you feel in your heart that the Mother Mary or the goddess figure, depending on what you understand from Dante's videos and so forth, if you understand that it's the representation of Mother Earth, of the mother of things, it's not about goddess and pointing and blowing people up or anything. Has anybody, I've read a lot of things about the goddess, but the goddess never wreaked havoc upon the planet. Not in the things that I've read. Now, I've read some stupid stuff where people try to say, well, if you worship the goddess, then you worship paganism. Yeah, but what did worshiping the goddess do? Well, what do you mean? Well, okay, so there's the goddess. She's a lady. Okay. But you're willing to pray to God. But if you say, well, wait a minute, what about, did God have a goddess? Did male, female, yin, yang, but if you say goddess, all of a sudden you left the realm of religion and are now in the realm of paganism. Why? Because if there was, God's got to be a guy. And if you try to throw a female into the mix, they don't want that. The Catholic Church and all these doctrines and everything wiped out the motherhood of things because they wish to promote war, Vlash, if you will. And so, but if you want to just stop and say, now all mothers are not the same, but if there is a mother that's kind and good and seeks to help her children out, let's just stick with that you say motherhood is a bad thing? You say that the mother of all beings, or the person, we're going to say, here's a female being, and she represents, for whatever reason, the motherhood of the universe, of the planet, of Mother Earth, of Mother Nature, of Mother, but if you consider that, well, yeah, but that's pagan. Well, then God must be a pagan too. God, goddess, wait a minute. So you can say, well, no, God's the good guy. Why? Because they said so. The goddess has been written out as pagan, false, blah, 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 blah. But to Native Americans, to shamans, we understand that whether she's called Mother Mary or motherhood or Mother Nature or mother, it's the mother of all things. It is, nurturing. It is healing. It is, it is that part of it. So if you want to go with the written rhetoric that goddess, oh, she must be an evil pagan thingy. But if you do your research in the goddess, is she the one that wreaked havoc upon the earth? Is she the one that, that turned people into pillars of salt? Is she the one that flooded the earth? Is the goddess of the earth, Mother Nature, is she the one responsible for all this stuff? Mother Earth is always trying to adapt and give us what we need. Plants, water, this, that. It's us humans and whoever else that's screwing up the thing. But Mother Nature, yeah, she's, going to reel her head up. That's because we've been ugly to her. And the simple fact of things that all things evolve. So Mother Earth is evolving. You and I are evolving. The blue sun versus the yellow sun when I was a kid. All of these things are different, and they're all having an effect on us. And we need to understand this in the grand scheme of things. And so this idea that, well, Mother Mary, she's a goddess and she's a Baba. Yeah, but did Mother Mary did any of the mother goddesses want to destroy the world? And I can't find it. But, oh, Poseidon and oh, these gods and Zeus, lightning, kill, blah, 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 blah. So it's always the guys have been at war. Now, if past history is true, and I can't prove it one way or the other, but the Kali Yuga thing is that, we go through this cycle, and we're up and down, and this is our Milky Way, and this is sort of the center, the ecliptic as they call it. And our planet our whole solar system has been diving and weaving up and down as a natural phenomena in the universe. And they call it the Kali Yuga, and it's supposed to be like 26,000 years about. And that we have come out of one and are coming out of the masculine and are coming back into the feminine. And so for the next 1,000 years or something, we're supposed to be more in the feminine and of the heart and of compassion and of those types of things. Personally, I believe it. Now, does it mean that we're all turning into females? No, but we need to look at the female side of things. Instead of make war, why not nourish? If people are hungry and are fighting and doing this kind of thing, there's a reason. Then let's feed them and they'll calm down. If we treat them as equals, I'm better than you, so you stay behind the fence. I got the gun, you don't. I get to eat, you don't. I'm the one that's special, you're not. We got to stop this. And it's by intent and by thought. So, my friends, I do love you all, and I continue to pray. So I will end this session that's 38 minutes longer than I thought I would do. But you folks are absolutely marvelous, and I pray for you each and every single day, even if I'm not on here, because it's up to you and me, but it's up to us to share this with other people, to make sure that we don't get into a conflict and want to argue and everything. But and poor Martin, he's been reading stuff versus those of us who have had personal experience. And I'm just going to say, we all have a free will. We all have that opportunity. But are we members of the League of Like-Minded Beings? And if so, then we understand that all these things are connected. Yeah, there's some turncoats, even within the Republican Party, we'll say, the Charistus or the Vlash or whoever. There are people, entities who will work for one side and for whatever reason flip and turn traitor or turncoat. So we have to be careful in that. And my thing is that, sorry, you can't turn me. And that's my core value of love, honor from my heart to yours and to the rest of the universe. Because I don't want to just limit it to here. But to that, my intent is we can have peace if we wish it. Now, there are those who think they're better than the rest of us peons. And to those, I say, if I have to take up arms against you, I will. And in so many ways, I already have. So with that, Ian, let's see. Great listening to your thoughts and wisdom, David. Thank you, sir. Much respect to everyone in chat. Thank you so much, Ian. I'm not always right, but I try to be correct in the information that I send you. And my information is from the heart and from Mother Mary, from the universe, if you will. And I just just cogitate on this a little bit. Think about this before you just jump off over here. But keep that core value. Yeah, let's see. Maverick, thank you. And Yabiak, his use of religious symbology suggests Isis goddess. I agree. But the thing is, was Isis Mother Mary? Was Isis or was Mother Mary the reincarnation of the Isis motherhood? And what about Joan of Arc? There have been very, very strong, powerful women in history, but you don't hear about them much, because the guys rule the day. But to the point, though, there's that old adage behind every good man is a good woman. Just saying, and a lot of times that's true. You got to have support. So divine feminine principle, all the definitions fall short. I agree, Maverick. But, if you just understand the motherhood of nurturing, you have now us guys, we can't have children. I have sons and daughters, but the thing is that I didn't push them out of my body. So I don't have that direct connection to motherhood. But with that said, though, the divine feminine is all around us. And for us guys who say, well, no, that's a bunch of horse hockey and BS, blah, 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 I have to say, wait a minute, though, are you just being a male chauvinistic pig because you refuse to accept that women have, they have their own individual power, resources, whatever it is. It's not about a guy or a girl. It's about the energies thereof. And so I say, us guys need a little bit more feminine in us. We need to nurture more. We need to be fathers, if you will, true fathers, not some kind of dictatorial asshole that goes, I'm your dad and you're going to do what I tell you. Yeah, that never worked with me. And I was always in arguments with my pops. But later on, he understood where I was coming from. But to the point, though, it's so easy for us to make it, especially guys. The guys go, well, I don't know, the divine goddess, blah, blah, blah. She must be some kind of pagan thing. And it's like, but women go, but because they have had children and they feel this nurturing and this thing us guys can never experience in this time, we don't get it on that level. So in my older age, I've been trying to understand more the feminine side of things. Not just the fighting and the sword play and the Listen, there were some women who were some damn good archers, just saying. And there were some good women who were very good at sword play and that kind of thing. I've met a few of them who do fencing and things like that. Some of these women are really good at what they do. So you have to say, well, wait a minute, is this goddess mess, is the Isis thing, is it the history that these weirdos have shoved down our throats? And in that respect, we think, well, this divine feminine Isis, this is all bad because they make it seem bad to us. But did ISIS take a bunch of people out and kill them all? Did ISIS? I mean, when you go back through it, it's like, no, the guys pretty much did this. It wasn't the women. If the guys had just a little bit more feminine intuition or something like that, and I don't mean wearing skirts, blah, blah, now, they can stay out of that mess, but, to be more compassionate as a woman would, because they understand what it means to give birth and guys just don't. So we need to start bridging that gap, if you will. And I see progress all around me. It's slow, albeit it's slow, but there is progress. And the biggest thing is we stop arguing and have discussion. Martin jumped off because I don't believe what he has to say about it. So he made his point, put it in the chat, and off he goes. But my experience is different from his. Am I saying he's wrong? He's wrong in my point of view of what I have experienced. He's not wrong from what he's read because he's been reading falsehoods. And so he's convinced that any goddess figure must be pagan, must be bad, must be, blah, blah, blah. And I just say, that's a little bit being narrow-minded. And being in this new reality, we must, and I keep talking about it, we must think like a candle. And even in the Bible, it says, we are as like candles. And do you hide the candle under a bushel basket, or do you take and put the candle on top of the bushel basket for all the light to see? We are the light of the candle. We are the light of the universe. We are the light from the Lord, from God, from Creator, however you want it. And because we are of this light, we are also part beings of the divine feminine. We need to accept it, not reject it. We need to accept it. We need to be more nurturing. Speaking mostly of the guys. But there are some women out there who are not very nurturing. I mean, I have personal experience with some of these people, and it's like, some of these guys were more nurturing than the women, and I don't mean in some kind of hanky-panky way, but in spiritual support and things like that. But anyway, so my friends, this old man's got to pee, and I'm still trying to get over this congestion in my throat, and I can feel my throat wanting to do a big coughing. Dante is a Nephilim blend, says Yabik. I don't know. We're all a blend. We're one of the human beings are the only presence on this planet that's had our DNA spliced. We're the only ones. So somebody had to do something with it. Cherry, you're in PA as well. I forgot about that. I didn't think you were that far north, but blessings to you, Cherry, again. Maverick says, in combining those energies to feed the light to the seed within each contain a Christ child. Very, very, very good, Maverick. Thank you very much. You have a lot of good insight, Maverick, as well. And thank you for sharing. Sweet Pea, so most of us are galactic mutts, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm human with a side of who the fuck knows. To the point, kind of, sort of. Yeah, they've been messing with us. Yeah. It's more, Yabek says, more of a recycling, not a reincarnation. I agree with that. And there's a little bit of both in that. Cherry says, we are the light. Yeah, but maybe not all of us. That's true. Each one of us has the light within us, and it's our free will that allows us to use it to the either benefit or detriment of the rest of humankind, the hybrid kind. I know that there's so many different classes of folks out there, and it's not, I'm not versed enough on all of these different hybrids and things to be able to speak upon it. But I do know that they exist. I can say that. I've seen some of these things physically, mentally, spiritually on the astral plane. And I've seen some of the beings that Dante has showed in videos and things. I've seen them in other realms before he showed them to me. So it's like, that's why I'm on Dante's side in a lot of ways in that. And the other things that I don't understand about Dante doesn't mean that I'm like, well, I'm just curious. I'm like, well, he showed me that, and I'm not quite sure what he means by that, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, because all the other information that I've acquired and achieved and still coming across, there's got to be something in there. And later on, some of them might go, oh, holy crap, I remember that now. So just saying. So my friends, Cherry, you make me happy to hear your voice. Thank you, Cherry. Sweet Pea, can't bend my knees backwards, so I crossed that off. Yeah, Mepheme, I think is what he called them. But I saw a Mepheme type entity many years ago before Dante showed it up. And I was like, oh, holy shit. Oh my God. Oh no, it was in my backyard kind of thing. Betty, hi, how are you? I agree with Martin, not hating you on Hawkeye, but please rewatch the videos for better understanding. How much candle power do we give off? Says Ian. Beto, I can watch Dante, I can read all kinds of stuff, and I'm not trying to push on you, but having had the manifestations of her presence before me, doesn't matter about all the other stuff. Doesn't matter about Dante. It doesn't matter about what's been written about Goddess or anything. She appeared before me and she gives me nice little calm instructions. So all this other stuff doesn't matter in my book because of my personal experience with Mother Mary. So everybody else can have their own little thing, and Dante this and Dante that, and scripture or this or, but when you have an entity appear before you with the Dominican nun that was at Tampa Catholic, the two of them showed up at the same time. And so it's like, what the hell did, you know, but so my experience of Mother Mary and what I understand is, you know, it kind of follows along with other people. But for me and what I have experienced, all these other things don't really matter because what I have personally witnessed. So we can argue about it, but my personal experience just kind of outclasses all these other words and things because of what I have personally experienced. So Martin comes back on and says, "You're delusional. It's not Mother Mary." And am I being fooled, or are you calling me a fool, Martin? It doesn't really matter. You can call me whatever you want. I've been called a heretic, but my personal experiences with my mother, who I consider Mother Mary, are not delusional. Okay, that's all. Dante explicitly explained Mother Mary was a hybrid to bear the hybrid Jesus, and Moses was all contacted by the bad side to do some research. I've done research, Martin. You can say all you want to. My personal experience of this being is what I know. So, you know, watching Dante over again isn't going to do me any good because of how I've you might be contacted by the goddess. It's not Mary, bro. Martin, you can't unconvince me. Sorry. Okay? Just saying. So you keep chatting on with your stuff. I know what I saw. I know what I believe. I know in my heart those things that have been brought to me. And my point on, if you'd been listening, is Mother Mary a representation of the goddess? And in my opinion, it is. So I'm not trying to be ugly back, but you can't untake what I've already seen with my own two eyes. And with Sister Helene standing beside Mother Mary, I'm sorry, you know, you could say, well, oh, Sister Helene, who is she? Well, if you don't know my story, then sorry about that. And then I guess all of that is wrong. Now, but in my Catholic, yes, the kingdom is within and peace. Sweet Pea says, I'm hoping entities don't start appearing in my living room. I used to want that. I'm good now. I didn't ask them to come. They showed up because I was having conflicted experiences with whether or not I should start doing YouTube videos and if I should start discussing shamanism and spiritualism without religion, and how important it is that we stop arguing about these different things. Now, to Martin and to all of you, whether it's Mother Mary or not, do we agree that the goddess Mother Earth is a good entity? Or is she, well, I don't know, Mother Earth is bad and the goddess within and all that. Is she bad? So I'm, you know, My Mother Mary thing is because of my personal experience over many years and many appearances by her to me. Now, all I can say is, you know, if you don't believe me, okie dokie. I can't make you believe me, but you can't, at the same point, with your whatever, however you wish to pose your rhetoric, you can't untake the things that I have witnessed personally. I call her Mother Mary. Maybe she is the goddess. Maybe she is this. Maybe she's Isis. That's not the point. In my realm, she was Mother Mary because I was a Catholic. I I studied Mother Mary. I prayed to Mother Mary. I said the rosary a lot. And in that respect, Mother Mary came to me. Now, is she the same entity that all these other people? In my world, Mother Mary is this loving woman who nurtures and cares for all the children upon this planet, regardless of what words or however we choose to go around it. She is a mother entity, nourishing and loving. Can we agree on that? Regardless of whether or not I call her Mother Mary, that's what I experience. So, but we all have our opinions, and I still have to pee. So, um, Ian says aspects of. Cherry says, I believe you did see something. Oh, well, Cherry, I don't wish to unsee what I've seen, but what I've seen has been so phenomenal. It's like that's the point of me having this thing about faith. I was losing faith in the message that Mother Mary gave me as a child. And she appeared with the Dominican nun, Sister Helene from Tampa Catholic, that I've discussed in many videos. The two of them appeared in my living room to tell me it's time for me to start speaking on these subjects and to try to stay out of religion, so to speak, but talk about the spirit, how important the spirit is, regardless of the rhetoric, regardless of the language. Let's look at it from a heart central core value type of thing. So I'm not here to defend Dante. Okay, that's one thing. But I do know that some of the things that I know, I agree with Dante on 100%. So Maverick says, definition produces distortion. The point is moot. You are both right. Right. Thank you, Maverick. Terry B, love the universal language. Ian, many different aspects of the duality. Agreed. Um, Sweet Pea was Azazel's first incarnation. What was the name? I don't know, Sweet Pea. I can't remember. Martin says, trust me, bro, I'm a reincarnated hybrid. I know almost everything. Well, then you're smart to you. And if you had seen what I'd seen, maybe you'd change your opinion. And you have yours and I have mine. So Maverick, yes, Terry B, staying in love and acceptance of the other person's right to see how they choose without forcing your own perception down someone's throat like a sandwich. Thank you, Maverick. And to Martin, listen to me. You've got your own thing. You're reincarnated. Okay, fine. I'm not going to argue with that. But it's your perception of what you know. You don't know what I've experienced. And in that respect, so my point of view is how I choose to talk about it. I don't talk about goddess because I think it brings in too many other things. And you and other folks want to argue with me about the idea of Mother Mary and she's not really who she is and all this other. It's like okie dokie, but you can't take the visions away from me and the knowledge and the information that has been given through her, divine goddess, however you want to look at it, the Mother Earth, the great lady. I don't care how you want to phrase it. I use Mother Mary because that's how I learned it. Okay. So all these other people and all these other things, my experience of Mother Mary and my interpretation is because of my being a Catholic, my doing this and da 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 da. So Mother Mary, in this respect, that's how I understand it. Pamela, hey there. Perfect timing. Um, Yeah, doesn't Moses didn't look Jewish to me. The tablets, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. Cherry says, one time when I felt desperate, I was sleeping in my living room and a guy sitting in a chair smiles and says, "What's the problem? Everything is okay." I got wigged out, never saw it again. Yeah, Mother Mary. Thank you, Pamela. So, but my interpretation is my interpretation because of what I lived and went through and who Mother Mary is to me. How she is to everyone else, that's your decision. But can you argue the point that I'm trying to make simply have faith? Have faith in who you are. Have faith in the truth. Can we agree on that? Whether we agree on Mother Mary or not, can we agree on that we should have faith? Can we agree on the fact that we should each have faith and extend our prayers and our intent to the universe? So, that again, we're all this rhetoric. And for the last 30 minutes, I've been talking about whose perception of Mother Mary, when maybe it was another angel. I saw her as I was shown as a young child, that it was Mother Mary, and that she's always praying, she's always helping, she's always, when I'm down and out and I don't have a clue, then I can say, well, you know what? Mother came and gave me a hug and said it would be okay to have faith. And I think that's the most important part of this, is to whether or not I'm right or wrong about who Mother Mary is. Can we agree on the fact that we should all have faith? Just saying. Cherry, there's nothing wrong with faith and good feeling. Thank you, Cherry. Maverick says, what can Moses do? He's dead thousands of years past. Be present in the now. Past is how you define and forget you are loved. I agree with you, Maverick. We got a lot in common, Maverick. I agree with you. Martin says, please rewatch 48 Weeks with Dora Cristal, City on Jupiter. Yeah, I understand all that. I get all that. I really do. But my point to this is, do you have faith in your core values? So let's agree that, Martin has information that is not, that I'm not privy to. So I have to look at what Martin says. I have to look at what Dante says with a grain of salt and go, but there are signs and things that I've seen in other ways that I go, well, Dante's correct in some of this. Do I believe everything? I don't know, but I have to keep an open mind. And that's one of the things that I try to tell everybody. You take this discussion with a grain of salt, but to the point, basically, have faith, my friends. That is basic. And we should have faith in the goodness. So regardless of all the other rhetoric and who's where and what and who came from where and who's of this and who's of that, that's my going back to what I said an hour ago. Does it matter so much where we've been as to where we're going? And I say that past information is really good, but where are we headed, my friends? Are we going to sit around and argue about our differences and who we believe is Mother Mary or not? Or are we all going to say, listen, we all believe that from the heart, we should all be better and kinder beings to each other. Is that agreeable? That's the message, regardless of who it comes from. My choice is to say it was Mother Mary today. So Pamela says, yikes, first poop emoji, then that dregs name AZ is not a nice any to bring some gorgeous high frequency. I will put some beautiful flowers for Mary to bring the frequency back up. Thank you, Pamela. Maverick says, seek and ye shall find, knock on the door and it will open. The answers you seek are within. Martin says, I'm only repeating what I've learned from Dante over the past 12 years, and I was contacted. I'm not arguing with you, Martin. I'm just saying my reality is different from yours. That's all. But can we have the same thought? Do we all want peace? Are we all still working for the same cause? Regardless of who is named what and how. Just saying, It's a conversation. And in my quote, Mother Mary messages, this is one of the things that's holding us up from humanity, is that we're arguing over the simplest of things when we're not talking about the heart, when we're not talking about the soul, when we're arguing about who said what and who's right and who's wrong. I don't care. Can we agree that we are members of the League of Like-Minded Beings? Do you want peace in the universe? Yes or no? If you don't, then you're working for the other side. That's as simple as it gets to me. I'm working for this side. I'm working for the cause because I wish to see peace, harmony, and justice, however you want to look at it, in the universe. So, the mamby-pamby rhetoric of who's this, that, and the other thing, Martin, I am not going to stop identifying her as Mary, because to me, she is Mother Mary. She always has been Mother Mary. And argue all you like, put your stuff in your chat. I'm not going to ban you because I don't believe in that kind of stuff unless you're rude. But to the point, though, you can't take what I've already learned back. And I've been watching Dante for a long time also, Martin, just saying. Sweetbee says, that's all I do, Martin. Repeat what I learned, trying to understand it all, getting there slowly. Maverick says, my apologies, Pamela. Martin, all the answers on DSHK. Not to some people, I must disagree, Martin, because some people can't get through all of the way he puts things. And some people need a very simple guidebook to get them there. And some people are very confused about Dante, and we must be careful. And, not all people are stupid. Yes, we argue at the drop of a hat. Right. See, Martin, you got to just keep going. It's the goddess. Okay, to you, it's the goddess. To you, whatever. In my world, because of what I know, this was Mother Mary. She's not some kind of weirdo something. She's always giving me good information. And she tells me to continue loving you, even though you call me stubborn. So Maverick says, nobody has all the answers. The sooner you realize you know nothing, the sooner you can know. And also, Maverick, the sooner you can know, and also the sooner you can grow. Cherry says, we are finding that many stories in the Bible are human versions of what happened. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Martin, yes, I'm a stubborn old coot, and you will never convince me otherwise that who I saw. Now, again, understand, I said at the beginning of this, my interpretation of the Mother Mary that I know and love is a representation of the goddess. So I don't think, Martin says, good versus evil Mary is evil. Not in my opinion, because I've never heard an evil thing or thought come from her. It's always been to calm down, to rethink things. For me, she tells me, don't go off. Thank you, Martin. I'll continue to pray for you so that you will understand what I've been trying to say. In my opinion, my version of Mother Mary is the goddess. Did you hear that? Are you listening to me, or is your brain already caught up in that you have is also what's going on? Just saying. I've said that, and I've said it again. This is third or fourth time. I've said it in other videos. My interpretation of Mother Mary, in my opinion, because I was raised a Catholic, is that she is the representation of goddess. She's not some evil entity. I'm sorry, but in nothing. And if you've watched any of my quote Mother Mary messages, there's been nothing in there that has been contrary other than to speak from the heart, to be good, to be honest, to be a part of the cause. Nothing I've ever said has been in any kind of detrimental way. My idea of Mother Mary, okay, you call it goddess. I'm going to stick with Mother Mary because that's has been how I've attached to this. So Maverick says, good and bad are frequencies and vibrations on a scale like hot and cold, of which you are that scale. Cherry says, where did you learn that Mary is evil? Thank you. I didn't get that either. Lori says, I've listened to all this, no clue who this Dante is or what it represents. Sweet Pea says, do you ever watch us talk about stuff and wonder how they haven't gotten in those ships and fly off? I got it. Maverick says, this is a discussion. Define it as it is. This is no argument. It's laughable in every sense of the word. It is the problem, a lack of acceptance. Yes, Dante is a person, Cherry. Yes. And again, Maverick, I agree with you again. That's my point about this. We're arguing over these semantics. Can you just absolutely take in this? Hey, listen, the message from the universe is have faith, regardless of who you think it is. Have faith in the cause. Have faith. Is that bad? Regardless of who it may seem to have come from, maybe I'm the evil, wicked, mean, and nasty person. And if so, would Dante have shared my video? He saw a truth in there, and he knows I speak from the heart. And whether or not my Mother Mary and how I describe it, it is the Mother Goddess. It is this Mother energy. It is a goodness, and I'm trying to share it with you all. So, no, I agree with you, Maverick. This is a discussion. I agree with you. This is not an argument, but there are those folks who would argue that I don't know what I'm talking about. That's your opinion, and I love you for it, and understand. So Martin's got another remark here. Ego, bro, you've got to be willing and open to admit it. What you've learned isn't correct, or else you will never reach enlightenment. Martin, I would never say that back to you. I would never say that back to you. Thank you, Maverick. Look in the mirror. Martin, in my opinion, I could say the same words back to you, but because of my internalness, I reject it. I can't say that back to you. I can't say it's your ego that won't understand what I'm trying to explain. You're stuck with what this is. And I'm trying to explain, I've got another perception of this. And this being that I refer to as Mother Mary is a good and honest and pure white light being who is giving me nothing but positive in all of my lifetime. She has literally saved me from the depths of hell. But you didn't experience it, and I did. Martin, Sun says, Martin, you need to read your own words. Thank you, Sun. Lori, and blessings to you, Sun. Lori says, all one can do is find the truth that resonates within. Cherry says, I'm still wondering how you couldn't try to halt someone else's enlightenment. Sweet Pea says, you guys know who Martin and Beto are, right? Nope, I don't know either, Sweet Pea. But it doesn't really matter in that respect, because the bottom line is what is the message, regardless of who said it? Peace? Have faith? They are the 72s. We are the bench warmers. I got it. That's why I call us the silent 72 plus. We're the bench warmers. What I have the information on and what I understand about things and what I continue to want to talk about is that we all need to get there on these things and quit worrying about some of these words. And here I go again. My Mother Mary message over many times has been that there is too much arguing over the rhetoric of things. Can I believe that we all exist for a purpose? Do I believe that we have the freedom of will to do right or wrong, to follow evil or to follow goodness? If you've watched my videos, am I following evil? Have I said anything evil to anyone? Have I tried to infer that there was evil anywhere? Am I trying to describe evil? Am I trying to get people to get up in arms and fight with one another? What is my purpose? What is my message to the universe? Is it evil? Then you guys wouldn't be hanging out with me if it was. So am I wrong? I have a different perception. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. I'm trying to share what I know because I am a shaman in training. as we all are. So, my friends, I'm about to pee on the floor. I mean it. I'm like, really got to go here. So, it's a long story. Yeah, Lori. They're, they are also mirrors. Thank you, Ian Cherry. You're not evil, searching truth. Lori, thank you. So, regardless of whether or not I believe Mother Mary, in my reality, Mother Mary is a good person because of what I know. To other people, maybe not so. Okay, but the bottom line is that can we agree on what we want to move forward with? Do you want peace or war? Do you want, harmony, or do you want disharmony? Do you want chaos, or, I'm against chaos. I say, come on, everybody, let's stop with the arguing about these who knows what, about this, about that. Can we agree on these core values? Can we agree with our heart and soul? That is what to me is important. Yabek says, when you look into the mirror, you're looking into the past. Clandestine Ninja, the son of the goddess, has given us enough knowledge to fight. We must choose our battles and fight. I absolutely agree. And what is going to keep us apart is arguing about semantics of things. Well, it's this word, it's that word. Can we just agree that, there is a motherhood of the universe? It is the divine feminine, if you will. Can we agree that that does exist and we need to be more in the divine feminine? So we stop this fighting and all this other kind of serious arguing. And I say, yes, regardless of who you believe or what it is, can we believe on these core values? Are we a part of the League of Like-Minded Beings? And my answer to that is, for those of us who want to think along these lines, yes. Ian says, David, you got to go piss, bro. We could wait. I think we've battled too long and need more peace. Thank you, Cherry. Son, those who argue the most are the most ignorant to others. And it also, to me, to your point, son, folks who want to keep stirring it up, and it's like, well, wait, can you just stop and listen to the basic thing that I said? Period. Whether or not Mother Mary, can you listen to the message? The message is peace. The message is have faith. That's the message. Is it a good message or a bad message? Artemis of the moon, Diana of the moon, to the Martin guy, Dante said she created variety and she goes by many names. I have a personal name for her, but that's not important. What David says at this moment is important. Thank you, Artemis, very much. Cherry says, yeah, go potty. Laughed my ass off, says Maverick George. I was thinking the same thing. Yale Beck, the angels are fighting for that seat next to God. Artemis says, yes, we can agree. And that's the bottom line, And of all the things that comes from the divine outside is we need to stop arguing about these little things and really concentrate on the important things. Love, honor, cherish, respect, compassion. Can we agree on those? Then we are on the same page. And that's what I think is most important. So my friends, after 2 hours and almost leaking on the floor down here, I'm going to cut this now and say blessings to all of you. Martin, you are free to for your opinions, but if you went back and listened to what I originally said, you would find out that I probably agree with you. You just didn't listen to what I said, and I'm sorry about that. And I continue to pray for each and every one of you. And I close with this: want your wings back? If I deserve them, I'll get them. It's sort of like Clarence, on the Christmas special, when the bell rings, Clarence gets his wings back. He helps Christmas or whatever it is. But to the point, I'll get my wings back when I earn them. And I will do my best to do what I believe is the core values of human beings, and not just human beings, but of the universe. And that we need to continue to try to promote peace and love and honor and cherish and compassion in the universe. So, my friends, thank you, Pamela. Blessings to all of you. And as I state before and always will, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the blessings, and the knowledge from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to share these basic ideas, continue to share the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe. Accept and receive for you, yourself, and to please spread it to other people. Being argumentative does not gain anybody for our side. Being argumentative, all it does is create more confusion. So we need to find a point that we can all agree upon and focus on that. Pamela, it's a wonderful life. Thank you, Cherry, for that. Pamela, my mission is incomplete. Mine also. As many of us, I believe. Sun, thank you very much. And until next time, my friends, I love you. I do. Be at peace. Cheers, everyone. Ciao for now. Thumbs up. Cheers. Be kind, be sweet, and be compassionate, and be as the universe wants you to be, in love. Thank you all.